On the first day of school, Alex never imagined that his gentle, injured-looking deskmate, Ethan, was living in a house steeped in an eerie atmosphere. A house where his stepmother raised demons with infant corpses and cultivated hundreds-eyed fish charms. Behind Ethan's obedient facade were 2 years of identical nightmares. A dark well with a noose, a broken body, and a deformed fish emerging from the depths. When Alex accidentally stepped into Ethan's life, everything began to surface. Flesh-eating charms, a forbidden room reeking of death, a black pond swallowing children's souls, and Ethan slowly transforming into a sacrifice Sarah was preparing to offer to the demon in the pond. Until one rainy night, mirrors shattered, and fish hooks erupted from his flesh. Ethan died in agony, leaving Alex with an undeniable truth. Ethan never went anywhere. He died right there in his own home. And the woman who stood at the door claiming Ethan had moved was merely a predator trying to lure Alex into becoming the next offering. From the moment a red-eyed crow landed on Ethan's desk, Alex knew the battle with the charmed demon had just begun. On an early Monday afternoon, Alex walked into his new classroom, an environment he had never experienced. Today was his first day of school here. Just then, the homeroom teacher arrived, introduced Alex to the class, and seated him next to a boy at the back desk. Perhaps the rest of the class didn't pay much attention to his presence. The first lesson began. The teacher acquainted himself with Alex and reminded him of some class rules. Alex simply nodded and sat down. The scorching sun shone directly on his face, forcing Alex to shield it with his hand. He kept staring at the boy next to him. As if sensing someone watching him, the boy quickly turned around. His face was covered in bruises, wounds still fresh, but they couldn't hide his handsome features. "Why are you looking at me like that?" His voice was a little timid. "Oh, I forgot to bring my books. Can I look at yours?" Alex clasped his hands together, pleading. The boy simply pushed his book towards Alex without saying a word. "Hey, what's your name?" "My name is Ethan." "Oh, really?" "Ethan, why do you have so many bruises on your face?" On the blackboard, the teacher was still lecturing about chemical formulas. Ethan buried his face in his notes, seemingly unwilling to answer Alex's question. Throughout the lesson, Alex tried to strike up a conversation with Ethan but failed. During break time, seeing Ethan still sitting quietly, Alex didn't feel like going anywhere either, partly because he had no friends here, partly because he didn't know where to go. While he was thinking, suddenly there was a loud noise next to him. Alex looked over and saw Ethan being forced head down onto the desk. Ethan didn't cry out or say anything, just lay there motionless. The other boy, smugly, turned to look at his friend and smirked. "See? He's as weak as a snail." Alex stood up and punched him in the face. "Hey, you can't just hit anyone you want." "What did you say?" The other boy clutched his cheek, his face still insolent. He seemed afraid of losing face in front of his friends, who also chimed in. Alex kicked him once more and said, "Looks like no one ever taught you manners." The boy just stood up, glared at Alex, and then quickly walked away. Alex walked closer to Ethan. "Are you okay? Are you all right?" "Of course, thank you." Ethan smiled, a new bruise adorning his face. The following classes were the same, nothing new until it was time to go home. In truth, Alex's school life before that had been as dull as Ethan's, but at least he had someone to share things with. Perhaps Alex was still that way. He was wheeling out his bike when he saw Ethan walking home alone, surrounded by cold-hearted people scrutinizing him. "That kid's an orphan, he doesn't have a mother." How could they say such cruel things? Wasn't not having a mother a great disadvantage? "Hey, you guys are going too far," Alex shouted, then pulled Ethan roughly towards his bike. Somehow, he managed to get Ethan onto the bike and sped off. Ethan still didn't understand what was happening. Hey, where are we going? Where do you live so I can go home? Just let me down." "No, tell me quickly or I'll hit you." Ethan had no choice but to give his address. Suddenly, Alex gasped excitedly. "Wow, if your description is accurate, your house is pretty close to mine." Ethan was also briefly surprised. "Really?" "Really, my house is on that same street." After hearing Alex, he just grunted and fell silent. "Ethan is that dull? Why do they bully you?" Alex asked with a puzzled tone. Ethan remained silent for a long time, not answering. Alex asked again, "They said you're an orphan? What did they mean? Your mom passed away 2 years ago when you were 16. The sigh twisted Alex's heart, making him feel a pang of sadness. Ethan didn't want to say anything more. Alex asked again, "You don't have a bike?" "Yeah, I don't. Should I wait for you tomorrow?" "No need." Alex fell silent. He knew that no matter what he said, Ethan would find a way to refuse, so it was better to force him tomorrow. As they arrived at Ethan's house, he quickly got off the bike, pointing towards the 3-story house in front of them. "Is that your house?" Ethan asked Alex with admiration. "That's right. Your family must be very happy, huh?" "Yeah." The answer mingled with his thoughts, making that moment seem to slow down. Ethan went inside, waving goodbye to Alex. Alex looked directly at the closing door. The house was spacious and seemed to lack nothing. Alex caught a glimpse of a young woman, about 24-25 years old, with a very attractive figure. He thought to himself, that must be Ethan's sister. Alex went home with a troubled mind. "Are you home, son? How was your day?" Alex's mother's voice echoed from inside the house. "I'm home, Mom and Dad. My day was great. I just made a friend across the street. His name is Ethan." His father patted his son's shoulder. "That's wonderful. Come, let's eat." Closing the door, Ethan quickly went to the bathroom to wash up, then went upstairs to his room. As he turned his back, a voice said, "Don't eat dinner tonight, okay?" "Where's my dad?" "He's on a business trip." Ethan slammed his bedroom door shut, leaving Sarah with a triumphant look. No wonder he always looked so pale. He wasn't resisting because he was afraid of her, but because he was thinking of his father. His father loved him very much, and he would surely be disappointed if Ethan had a bad attitude towards her. Ding dong, the doorbell rang once, then a second time before someone opened the door. "Who are you?" "I'm Ethan's friend. Could you please give this to Ethan for me?" Alex said, holding a bag of milk bread. "You look new. Have you just moved here?" Alex's smiling face turned towards the house opposite. "Ah," Sarah simply replied, then reached out to take the bag of bread from Alex's hand. "I'm going home now." "Aren't you coming in to play?" "No, I'm going home." Sarah watched Alex rush home, then she closed the door tightly and went upstairs. "Knock, knock. Your friend asked me to give you this. Don't I look like a delivery person?" Saying this, she placed the bag of bread in front of Ethan's door. He opened the door, picked up the bag, and inside found a small folded piece of paper. He opened it and saw Alex's Facebook account and phone number. Ethan picked up his phone, went to Facebook, typed in the search bar, and sent a friend request. Immediately, the request was accepted, and the phone number was saved to his contacts. The bag of bread was carefully placed in the empty refrigerator, because who knew, maybe Alex wouldn't be by his side later. Outside, a drizzling rain began to fall. Not heavy, but thick. Alex wiped the raindrops from his hair, looking towards the second floor of the house opposite. The light was still on. It was already 10 p.m. Wasn't he planning to sleep? Alex smiled, thinking he probably needed to wake up early tomorrow. With that thought, he lay down on his bed. Perhaps he was too tired today, as Alex fell asleep very quickly. The rain grew heavier. Ethan looked towards the house opposite and saw that the lights were off. As he slowly drifted into sleep, he found himself in a very deep well in the field behind his house. All around Ethan were dense bamboo bushes. A noose hung over the mouth of the well, and a sorrowful scream echoed from its depths. Ethan pulled up the noose and saw a corpse covered in maggots, part of its skull fractured, and a leg detached from the body. A noise from the bottom of the well rang out. He gasped in horror, dropped the noose, and fell backward onto the ground. Ethan scrambled up, his palms covered in dirt. He bent down and peered into the well, seeing nothing but blackness. Suddenly, a strange creature leaped out, scratching his left cheek. Blood streamed down. He looked down at it and realized it was a fish. The moonlight shone on it, and suddenly, hundreds of eyes, big and small, sprouted all over its body, staring fixedly at him. Ethan woke up, his forehead beaded with sweat. This was the same dream he had been having for nearly 2 years, ever since his mother passed away. The bustling sound of traffic mingled with the chirping of sparrows, creating a cacophony that was strangely captivating. Alex woke up to the alarm clock ringing. Wow, 5:30 a.m. and everyone's already busy? He got up and pulled open the curtains. The faint light of dawn welcomed the new day. Alex quickly showered and changed, then wheeled his bike out the door. "Mom and Dad, I'm going to school." Puddles of water from last night's rain still remained on the road. Ding dong asterisk. The girl from yesterday opened the door. Are you here to pick Ethan up for school? Yes. Come in and wait, I'll call Ethan. She went upstairs. Knock, knock. Ethan, your friend's here to pick you up for school. Let me just comb my hair. She walked down to the living room and sat opposite Alex. Her tight black bodycon dress hugged her figure. Her eyes stared intently at Alex. Alex felt a little shy and looked away. What's your name, dear? My name is Alex. Why are you stammering? Oh no, it's nothing. And you, what's your name? My name is Sarah. Oh, your name is truly beautiful. In truth, he didn't know what else to say. Sarah smiled gently after hearing him, her eyes still fixed on Alex. Are Mr. and Mrs. Vu home? I wanted to say hello to them. Mr. Vu is away on a business trip. He'll be back in a few days. The sound of a door opening echoed. I told you, you don't need to drive me, I can walk. It's fine, come on, let's go quickly. Ethan rushed downstairs and headed straight out of the house. Alex followed. Have a nice day at home, sister. His hurried departure didn't go unnoticed by Sarah. Hey, Ethan, do you really have to be like this? Why are you so good to me? Ethan's question left Alex unsure how to answer. I'll tell you later. For now, let's go to school. Tell me now. There's no way someone as perfect as you would be so kind to me. Later. For now, let's be best friends, okay? Back at my old school, I was like you too. I wanted friends. Alex's words, spoken with such emotion, made Ethan realize that Alex's appearance was a gift sent by the universe. I'm sorry if I hurt you. It's okay. From now on, we're friends. Come on, let's go to school. The two walked briskly down the bustling street. Alex told Ethan interesting stories about his life in the city. Ethan's face remained unusually gloomy. Didn't you sleep last night? That's right. Ethan's slightly embarrassed reply made Alex feel that he was perhaps too concerned about him. Alex drove his bike into the school gate. Everyone's eyes were on them, but he paid them no mind. Parking the bike in its designated spot, Alex draped an arm over Ethan's shoulder and they walked into class together. Ethan wasn't shy either, looping his arm over Alex's shoulder. After the two boys left, Sarah kept thinking about Alex, her mind unable to find peace. Perhaps she had fallen for Alex. Every time she thought about Alex, she would smile faintly. Auntie Rose, please help me pick out a really beautiful dress. Yes, madam. It was strange. Ever since she married Mr. Vu and usurped the mistress's position in the house, no one dared to utter a word of protest. Ethan's grandparents, who had strongly opposed her, now indulged her completely. As for Ethan, no matter how much he wanted to leave, he couldn't escape this house. He couldn't stay in peace nor leave. Auntie Rose dared not contradict her, not a single word. Every time Ethan had to go hungry, Auntie Rose would bring food up to him in the middle of the night. Sarah entered the room, a room no one else was allowed into. She locked the door, then pulled back a black curtain to reveal a large fish tank. Inside, there was nothing but the murky blackness of the water. Sarah put a bag of fish hooks into it. She sat there muttering something that sounded like Thai, though sometimes it didn't. After that incomprehensible incantation, she placed a small red bag into the tank and then left. School that day was pleasant. No one bullied Ethan. He seemed to have regained some color and was more open with Alex. They talked quite well together. Hey Ethan, your sister seems unwell. What? I don't have a sister. Sarah is my dad's wife. What? Alex looked surprised and then fell silent, not wanting to say anything more. Ethan replied with an unhappy voice. I don't like her. It's okay, you still have me. You'll go to work later and won't see her anymore. More than anyone, he sympathized with Ethan. Perhaps the day his mother died and the day she came home as his stepmother were the two worst milestones in his life. How about we go out today? Sounds good, but where should we go? To the riverbank. Saying this, Alex pulled a red bag from his backpack, poured out a necklace with an intricately carved pendant, and gave it to Ethan. This is for you. Oh, I don't think I should accept it. It's fine. I noticed you haven't been sleeping well, so I'm giving you this. It helps ward off evil spirits. Alex pressed it into Ethan's hand. Then thank you. That afternoon, Alex drove Ethan home. Get ready, okay? We'll leave at 6 p.m. tonight. Okay, goodbye. Saying this, Ethan walked into his house and closed the door. He put on the necklace Alex had given him. He didn't know why, but that day he felt his meal tasted exceptionally good. At 5:00 p.m. that day, Ethan finished getting dressed. At 5:30, he called Alex. Alex, can I come to your house and wait for you? Sure, come on over. Ethan opened his front door. Just as he stepped out, Sarah's sharp voice rang out. Where are you going? Where I go is none of your business to control. Sarah moved closer to Ethan, whispering into his ear. Aren't you afraid of going hungry tonight? I'm pregnant, don't make me tell your father you disobeyed me. Just so you know, this house is in my name. Saying this, Ethan closed the door and left without hesitation. As soon as he stepped out, he saw Alex waiting. Let's go, Ethan got on the bike. This woman is really too much. I think we shouldn't concern ourselves with her petty matters. Alex fell silent, lost in thought. Why was it that every time he came to Ethan's house, a strong, eerie smell permeated the air? Living in such a house, a normal person might only live for about 5 years, while the elderly and children might only last a year. Ethan's face was always gloomy, and his pupils were a deep red. Could he be raising a demon? Furthermore, Sarah was pregnant with twins even, and her complexion was also dark, yet there were no other signs of her raising a demon. So was it all because of Ethan? Was it because Ethan hated Sarah? Because of those who had bullied him, he had done such things? Moreover, the house had no ancestral altar or offerings. It was truly pushing oneself into a death trap. Alex didn't intend to suspect Ethan, but he looked very much like someone raising a demon. If Sarah stayed in that house any longer, sooner or later, she too. After a struggle with his conjectures, they finally arrived at their destination. Alex stopped the bike by the riverbank. Ethan got off and walked closer to the river, crouching down to look at the swiftly flowing water. Ethan reached out his finger to touch the surface of the river. Suddenly, 2 tiny red dots appeared, glowing like a pair of eyes looking at him. Ethan quickly recoiled his hand, sensing something was wrong. Alex moved closer to Ethan. What's wrong? Ethan's face looked panicked. Look at this, is there something? Alex bent down to look. Immediately, something darted past, landing with a thud on the ground. Ethan quickly whipped his head around, looking towards the small black shadow that had just shot past. Oh my God, it's a fish, and it has so many eyes on its body. The images from his dream flooded back. This was the fish he saw in his dream. Alex saw this sight, too stunned to speak. Who could cultivate such a charm? Alex stepped back, his hand brushing against a tree branch, drawing blood. The fish wriggled, moving towards Alex faster and faster. Blood from Alex's hand dripped onto the ground. Alex quickly took off the necklace from his neck and threw it towards the fish. Its flesh turned to ashes, and the north wind blew the smoke back into the vast river. Only its skeleton remained. What's happening? Ethan's face, a mix of fear and surprise, brought Alex back to reality. That fish is a charm that only high-level sorcerers can cultivate. It's a charm, right? Yes, I saw it in my dream. Hey, is that well real, Ethan? Alex asked urgently. Yes, but I think we should go home now. Can you show me tomorrow? Yes, it's deep behind my house. Okay, let's go home. We can go there tomorrow. The two walked quickly along the busy, bustling road. Alex couldn't stop thinking about the fish, Ethan, and his family. Who, after all, was cultivating the charm? As soon as they arrived home, Sarah was already waiting. The house reeked of a fishy smell mixed with the stench of a decomposing corpse. Sarah smiled at Alex. Alex noticed her pregnant belly, but why didn't it look big? The pregnancy was already 3 or 4 months along. Hey, are you all right? Yes, I'm fine. Seeing Alex's wary expression, Sarah seemed unnatural. Well, I'm heading home. You and Sarah have a good time. Alex sped off on his bike. As Ethan turned to go inside, Sarah quickly grabbed the necklace he was wearing around his neck and yanked it hard. The necklace broke in half. Hey, what are you doing? She threw the broken necklace at Ethan. Burn that thing immediately. Ethan picked it up, went to his room, and locked the door. Sarah raised her hand and looked at her fingertips. Only bones remained, her flesh had vanished. The next morning, after school, Ethan led Alex to the fields behind his house, quite a distance from his home. When they got there was no sign of the well. "Where's the well? I don't see it." "It was clearly here. It's been here for a long time, and I thought it still would be." Ethan and Alex were astonished, especially Ethan, who had lived there for so long. "What are you two doing here?" Uncle Paul emerged from a shed and asked them. Ethan gesticulated wildly, pointing towards where the well used to be. "The well? Where's the well, Uncle?" "About a year and a half ago, people filled it in. Do you know why? The chickens and ducks of the villagers nearby kept jumping in and disappearing. They really disappeared, boy. Once my flock of chickens was foraging when suddenly they flew up, stood on the edge of the well, and jumped down. I ran over, but they were gone." "That fast, Uncle? You blinked and they were gone?" Alex asked Uncle Paul. "I remember looking down there once and seeing a whole school of fish. The villagers saw the same thing. Some said those fish were demons and invited a sorcerer to exorcise them. We just believed it. We let him do it. No one in the village knew anything. Whatever sounded reasonable, we followed. Just before we invited the sorcerer, Ms. Two's granddaughter ran off to play and didn't come home by nightfall. The whole village searched until 1 a.m., but no one found her. So the only place left to search was the well. Shining a light down, we only saw the little girl's hand floating. No fish were seen. The hand had a bracelet, so we knew it was her." Alex and Ethan were completely engrossed in Uncle Paul's story. "That's scary, Uncle." Ethan's face turned pale as he looked at the spot where the well had been filled. "All right, you two head home. It's getting dark. It's already 6 p.m. Alex looked up, and the sky had indeed turned dark. The two stood up, bowed to Uncle Paul, and quietly walked towards Ethan's house. The drizzling rain began to fall again. Ethan pulled a flashlight from his jacket pocket. "I knew we'd be late, so I brought it." "Ethan, are you cold?" "No." "So, we didn't really accomplish anything by coming here today." "It's okay. Why are you investigating this?" "This isn't the right time for me to tell you. I'll tell you later." "Oh," Alex walked ahead, talking with Ethan. He stepped onto a wooden bridge beneath which was a rather large water canal. Suddenly, he turned around, extending his hand, implicitly wanting to hold Ethan's hand. Ethan reached out and took Alex's hand, stepping forward. The two walked on, unaware that beneath the canal, hundreds of eyes were staring at them. They arrived at Ethan's house at 7 p.m. Alex said goodbye to Ethan and headed to his own house. His hand was on the doorknob, but Alex felt something was amiss. He ran back towards Ethan's house, first ringing the doorbell, then knocking on the door. "Hello, dear, is something wrong?" "Can I see Ethan, please?" "Sure, he's upstairs." Saying this, Sarah walked into the house. She didn't know that her decision that day was a mistake. Alex immediately ran up to Ethan's room. Just as Ethan came out, Alex saw him holding a piece of bread. He snatched it and broke it in half right in front of Ethan. A fish hook fell out of the bread, witnessed by both of them. Ethan exclaimed, "Oh my God, Alex, be quiet. Do you want us both to die? We'll investigate this later. Who gave you this?" "Sarah," she said she made it herself. "Quiet down, don't let anyone know, not even Sarah. She's enchanting you. When I feel it's the right time, I'll tell you." Saying this, Alex left, not forgetting to close the door for Ethan. So there was nothing left to deny. That charm belonged to Sarah. Alex just wondered where she found such a powerful sorcerer. Back home, Alex quickly changed his clothes and went to his room, searching through various charm books. But he searched and couldn't find the type of charm Sarah was using. He only remembered having heard of it before. After a long search through ancient books and social media, the result was still 0. Alex was exhausted and lay down to sleep. As soon as he closed his eyes, he dreamed of Sarah. She leaned close to Alex's ear and said something he couldn't quite hear. Alex felt a lot of water at his feet, rising up to his knees. He looked down and saw only murky black water. No matter how hard he tried to see, he saw nothing but black. The only light emanated from Sarah, a strange grayish-green light. Alex's eyes gradually adapted to the darkness. In front of him, he saw Sarah clearly. She had grown a pair of aquatic creature's ears, and her legs had turned into a tail, her face gaunt and bizarre. Sarah swam closer to Alex. He couldn't run, nor could he speak. Sarah embraced him from behind. Alex woke up, drenched in sweat. He stayed awake until 2 a.m. before finally falling asleep. That morning, as usual, he drove Ethan to school. During science class, he accidentally scratched his finger. The scratch was quite deep, forcing Ethan to take him to the infirmary. That day, after returning home, Ethan disinfected Alex's wound, then they each went to their own homes. Ethan went upstairs, walked to the end of the hallway, opened the window to let in some air. Gusts of cold north wind blew onto his face. Clack, the sound of a wooden door hitting its frame echoed. Wasn't this the room Sarah forbade everyone from entering? Even his father wasn't allowed in. Why wasn't it locked today? Ethan took the doorknob and gently opened it. No one was in the room. The room was empty. What struck his eyes was a large fish tank, probably twice his arm span. The water inside was pitch black. As soon as he stepped into the room, he was assaulted by a strong, foul stench. The fish tank was placed on a rather large wooden table. Beside the tank was a plate covered with a black cloth. Ethan lifted the cloth. What he saw would probably haunt him for the rest of his life. Inside the plate was the upper torso of an infant, about 2 months old. The baby's head was tilted to the left, its hands close to its face, looking as if it were sleeping. The blood at the bottom of the plate had clotted. Ethan told himself, "It's fake, it's just fake." His finger slowly reached out to touch the baby's body. It was soft like living flesh. The creature in the tank moved violently. The still water suddenly churned into small waves, then grew stronger. Oh no, this must be its food. Ethan quickly covered the plate with the black cloth, closed the door, and hurried away. He ran back to his room, rummaging through his things until he found a mini hidden camera connected to his phone that he had bought a few months ago. He quickly left his room, glancing back as if fearing something. Ethan installed the tiny camera in the top left corner of the room, where he could best observe Sarah's actions and gestures. After connecting everything, Ethan left the room, locking the door as if nothing had happened. After monitoring the camera for a while, he saw no sign of Sarah or any movement. Suddenly, on the camera screen, the room door opened. She locked the door, walked to the tank, and lifted the black cloth. She picked up the infant's upper torso and gently placed it into the tank. The creature inside the tank seemed very pleased with this meal. It thrashed so violently that water splashed out. She knelt down, as if reverently serving the strange creature. About 30 minutes later, she exited, carefully locking the door. Ethan quickly saved the camera footage to his device. Although Ethan didn't know what kind of magic Alex possessed, he believed Alex was the only one who could save him at this time. That day, as agreed, Alex went to Ethan's house to talk. Ethan carefully locked his room door and showed Alex the camera footage from that morning. Alex's expression was almost indescribable. He just looked at Ethan. "How did you get this?" Ethan shrugged and replied to Alex, "I accidentally saw the room door open and just walked in." Alex shook his head. "You're really brave. To go in there and come out normally is a miracle." Ethan gave him a puzzled look. "What do you mean?" "Going in there depletes a lot of positive energy." "No, I went in there normally. Do you know what that creature in the tank is?" "No, but I think it's some kind of charm that can live underwater." The camera footage was quite blurry. Ethan looked at Alex with an inquisitive gaze. "Hey, Alex, can you clearly see what she's feeding that monster?" Alex just shook his head, looking as if he didn't understand, then looked at Ethan. "The upper torso of an infant." Ethan's voice was hollow, twisting Alex's heart. "It eats infants. Then she's probably preparing for a rather large plan." "What plan?" "Something that will bring about a very significant change. The damage it will cause, I don't know what will happen to you later." Ethan was very curious. He was always wary of Sarah, always avoiding her, but did Sarah ever leave him alone? "How do you know?" Alex looked towards the closed room door, speechless. If one were to use a word to describe charms, cultivating them could be called an art. The cultivator learns how to make the charm obey, not turn against its master. Normally, charms can be fed live chickens, raw meat, but when you need it, you have to feed it delicacies. After it finishes eating, it will do whatever you ask. There are types where you can switch back to everyday food. There are also types of charms where the food can only increase, not decrease. This means if you feed it human flesh today, tomorrow it can only be human flesh, not fish or any other common food. After hearing Alex's words, Ethan was stunned. He couldn't say anything more. Alex continued, "Charms have good types and bad types. What matters is what purpose you use them for. But once you start cultivating one, you can't turn back. You can only go forward." Charms have many uses, most commonly to make something happen according to your will. The most dangerous is when the charm and its cultivator become one. I don't know what level Sarah is at, but from my perspective, she's no ordinary person. Ethan was even more shocked. So maybe I was right. My father is just obeying that charm. My mother was killed because she commanded that charm. Alex looked at Ethan. Then, do you know what she wants? The question interrupted his train of thought. No, what I need to know now is why she would meddle with my family and harm us. She must have some reason for doing this. I don't know what it is, but I'll try to find out as quickly as possible. Can you help me? Of course, I'll help you at all costs. Ethan seemed to remember something. He turned to look at Alex. What did you want to tell me? Alex recounted what he had dreamed to Ethan. Ethan simply replied, The way you describe her makes her sound like a mermaid, doesn't it? I think she's hinting at something. I don't care what she's hinting at. I just found the dream strange, so I wanted to tell you for reference. Remember to be careful of your surroundings, okay? I'm going home now, hoping I can find a way to save you. Yeah, you go home. Alex nodded and pressed a scripture into Ethan's hand. I hope you stay safe tonight. I'm going home. No need to walk me out. The dark energy outside is very heavy. Read this, it will help you. Alex turned and walked forward. He opened his room door, stepped out, and closed it. As he turned back, Sarah was already standing there. She blew a puff of smoke into Alex's face. She took his hand, and Alex stared blankly at Sarah. She led him into a room and locked the door. Her eyes were fixated on Alex with an intense gaze. Sarah sat on the bed, wearing only a thin nightgown. Alex just looked at her, tilted his head, and moved closer. Sarah gestured for Alex to come closer. Alex took her hand, pulling Sarah sharply against the wall with determination. Wherever Alex's lips touched, Sarah's flesh turned to dust. She pushed Alex away, her wounds quickly healed. He was like Sarah's puppet, her hand made a motion to take off her necklace. Alex mimicked the action exactly. He placed the necklace on the table. Sarah actively moved closer to Alex. She put her arms around his neck. For a moment, Alex seemed to lose his reason, acting purely on instinct. The scene in the room became hazy and ambiguous. Outside, crows flew from nowhere, perching all over the balcony windows, cawing mournfully, but it seemed the two people inside the room no longer paid attention to anything. On the other side, Ethan was reading the first words of the scripture. This is hard to read, he thought. It was Vietnamese, but the words were disjointed, unrelated to each other. Ethan read the first words aloud, and his body suddenly felt lighter, shedding some of the worries he had carried for so long. He still stammered but kept trying to read. Ethan smiled to himself. It's easy, isn't it? Alex suddenly awoke and sat up. He rubbed his eyes to become more alert. As he reached out, he saw Sarah lying in front of him, uncovered. Alex shyly turned away. Before leaving, he also picked up his own robe and left a remark. Excuse me, put some clothes on, it's rather distasteful. Alex's footsteps echoed down the hallway. He passed Ethan's room, hearing Ethan's chanting. Sometimes Ethan would burst into laughter when he mispronounced something and had to reread it. Alex returned home feeling empty. He truly didn't know what he had done during those dreamlike moments. He tossed and turned all night, unable to close his eyes. Back with Sarah, she was furious. The uncontrollable anger, coupled with a persistent headache, made her let out a loud roar. The crows outside scattered, then perched on the window ledges. She opened the window, yelling loudly, "Go away!" Then she casually snatched a crow and threw it forcefully against the wall. Its blood splattered around, running down the floor. The crow fell, twitching faintly. Seeing this, the crows outside flew away. The full moon's light shone on her. Sarah's flesh felt a burning sensation, as if being incinerated. She quickly closed the curtains, got onto the bed, and turned off all the lights. The metallic smell of the crow's blood earlier assailed her nostrils. In the dim darkness, the only thing glowing now was the faint moonlight filtering through the curtains. Sarah was eating the raw crow. Ethan finally finished reading the scripture Alex had given him. He tiredly lay down, closed his eyes, and slept. It was the best sleep he had had in 2 years. The next morning, Alex drove Ethan to school. No one spoke a word throughout the ride until, "Are you hiding something from me?" Alex asked nervously. He was afraid Ethan would find out about last night. "No, it's nothing. I just don't feel well today, that's why I'm not talking." "Did you disinfect your wound?" "Yes," Alex answered perfunctorily and then fell silent. In class, he didn't open his mouth to speak either. The lesson that day passed in silence. Normally, he talked like a magpie, but now he wouldn't say a word to him. No wonder Ethan felt a sense of emptiness. Since Alex came, no one had bullied him anymore. People started playing with him more, making him realize how unpredictable human hearts could be. He didn't dare to get too close to anyone other than Alex. "Ethan, look at this for me." Seeing Alex cover his wound from yesterday, Ethan worried. "What's wrong?" He pulled Alex's other hand away and saw that Alex had drawn a smiley face on the wound. Ethan breathed a sigh of relief. "Oh my goodness, you made me think it was something terrible." Alex hugged Ethan, roaring with laughter. "Were you worried?" Ethan blushed with embarrassment, then burst out laughing too. "Let go of my hand, it's gross." That afternoon, returning home, Ethan said goodbye to Alex. He smiled brightly as he went home. Just as he went upstairs and looked towards Ethan's house, he caught sight of a resentful gaze staring at him from an upstairs window. That day, Ethan returned home feeling tired. Everything seemed to have returned to its normal rhythm. He sat on the balcony enjoying the breeze. Very quickly, night fell. The desolate road, combined with the cold north wind, made Ethan shiver slightly. The warm yellow lights of the surrounding houses and streetlights made him feel a strange mix of warmth and chill. The clinking sound of a spoon against a teacup, the violin music, made Ethan forget his surroundings. The moon shone on the surface of the tea in the cup, reflecting on Ethan's face. On the roadside, someone's shadow stretched endlessly. Ethan followed her until her shadow faded into the distance. He shivered slightly. At this hour, she's still walking alone outside. He walked out into the hallway, then went downstairs, opened the door, and looked around as if searching for something. Rain poured down, the heaviest rain of the past few days. Thump! A very loud noise from behind the house. Fearing a thief, Ethan only grabbed a hoe and went to the back. The scent of earth mixed with rainwater created an indescribable pungent smell. Ethan went to the spot but saw nothing. Before him was an endless field, ready to swallow anyone who dared to approach it. Besides the thick darkness, there was no one. Ethan went back inside, locked the door tightly, and returned to his room, lying down. He held the Shirangama Sutra in his hand. Just like yesterday, his voice wasn't loud, just loud enough to be heard. Sarah again suffered from a headache. Her body was itching uncomfortably. Ethan continued to read steadily. Sarah's head throbbed as if it were about to explode. Only when Ethan finished reading, the incantation did Sarah feel some relief. He closed his eyes and sank into a deep sleep. The yellow lamp was still on. Alex was still thinking about what happened yesterday. What exactly was the charm Sarah was cultivating? Since moving here, every night for Alex felt like a long one. He looked at the window pane. He could still vaguely see a pair of bloodshot eyes looking towards him. Cold wind crept into the room from somewhere. It seemed unable to freeze the fear within him at that moment. The rustling rain lashed against the already matted hair of the demon in front of him. Her wet hair dripped onto the tiled floor. That moment seemed to stop. Alex's eyes stared at the strange entity in front of him, unable to move. He had no strength to run, his limbs couldn't move. The thing in front of him opened the large window and slowly walked closer to him. Its hand intended to touch Alex, but for some reason it instinctively recoiled. Suddenly, it transformed into a puff of black smoke and flew out the window. Alex opened his eyes. Was it just a dream? He sat up and got out of bed. At his feet was a rather large puddle of water, as if someone who had just been drenched in rain had stood there. He was momentarily stunned. Was it real? Alex quickly wiped the puddle and returned to bed. The window remained silently closed. He tried to force himself back to sleep when 1, 2, 3 drops of water fell on Alex's face, accompanied by someone's cold breath. Alex slowly, gradually opened his eyes, looking towards the ceiling. What he saw was not the ceiling but Sarah in the mermaid form he had encountered in his dream. She brought her terrifying face towards Alex. "Alex, son, what's wrong?" His parents rushed into the room, looking panicked. "I'm fine, just a nightmare." After comforting Alex a little more, his parents returned to their room. How could it be just a nightmare? Even when he saw her, he was still awake. Sitting on the bed, Alex was surrounded by a thick darkness. Rather than complete blackness, everything around him was so blurry that even normal objects like a shirt became terrifying. Alex walked to a small cabinet and opened it. He took a sleeping pill, put it in his mouth, and swallowed. The effect was surprisingly fast. In about 10 minutes, Alex couldn't keep his eyes open. The next morning, Alex and Ethan had no morning classes, Everything was moved to the afternoon. Knock, knock asterisk. Alex's father opened the door. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Vu, this is for you." Ethan offered a plate of pastries with both hands. "Who are you, young man?" Alex's father didn't immediately take them but asked. "Ethan, I'm Ethan from the house across the street. Please accept them, it would make me happy." "You're Alex's friend, right?" "Yes, your visit alone makes us happy. Why bring gifts? Come in and sit down. I'll go up and call Alex down." Alex's mother led Ethan into the living room. "I'll get you some water." "Oh, no thank you." "Nonsense, let me get you some water, dear." Alex came downstairs. "When did you get here?" "I just arrived. Want to solve some math problems with me?" "Okay." Since that day, Sarah had been consumed by anger. Nothing went her way. Why, despite all her efforts, did everything still turn out badly? She walked into the room, closed the door, and then spoke as if to someone. "I tried to find what you wanted, a child. Do you know how much money that costs?" Around the room, a voice echoed from the underworld. "I never said I needed an infant. What I need is a child still in the womb. My power isn't enough to mess with Alex." "You can find a fetus and get him, or have nothing and you won't get him either." "You're being too cruel, you're harming others." "It's just that I don't know where to find it." "You're strange. You wanted that old man, now you want another. Who do you ultimately like?" "That old man is just for me to take all his family's shares, nothing else. Don't forget what Alex has. He can deal with you immediately if he feels you're unstable or realizes you're raising a demon. Who would ever like their enemy? Truly foolish." "That's my business. You just need to remember that I am you and you are me. If I die, it means you also vanish, that's all." Sarah said nothing, poured a plate of raw beef into the tank, then sat down and mumbled something. After sitting there for an hour, she stood up and left. The room door was tightly shut. At the same time, Ethan walked into the house. He closed the door and went to his room. The moment Ethan brushed past Sarah, he felt disgusted. Sarah didn't forget to glare at Ethan. Ethan went to his room, turned on his phone to check the camera. The screen was dark. "Is the battery dead?" He opened his room door and ran down to the kitchen. "Auntie Rose?" Auntie Rose's kind face turned to look at him, making him feel warm. Since his mother passed away, he had regarded Auntie Rose as his own mother. After all, she had cared for him since he was very young. "What is it, dear?" "Auntie, do you have the key to the room at the end of the upstairs hallway?" Auntie Rose's eyes widened at Ethan. "Oh no, dear. Miss Sarah has forbidden anyone from going up there." "No, no, dear. Go back to your room." "Yes." Ethan turned and walked towards his room, convinced that Auntie Rose had the key. Instead of going back to his room, Ethan went to Auntie Rose's door. A mental struggle began. Either don't go in or you must go in. Click! The sound of a door unlocking echoed. Ethan dashed into Auntie Rose's room, went to the wall hook, grabbed a bunch of keys, and quickly ran out, closing the door behind him. His movements were as swift as a master thief's. It made sense. Even if the house was pitch black, Ethan knew every nook and cranny because he had lived there for so long. The bunch of keys was quite heavy. Ethan went up to the last room and tried each key in the lock. 15 minutes passed. Each key was carefully inserted, but none of them fit the lock. Ethan quickly went downstairs, returned the bunch of keys to Auntie Rose's spot, then went to Sarah's door. Ethan's hand rested on the doorknob. Unfortunately, it was locked from the inside. That night, he pulled out a lock-picking kit from somewhere. 30 minutes later, Ethan was drenched in sweat. The light from his phone screen couldn't illuminate things clearly enough for Ethan at this moment. He dared not turn on the light. It was already midnight, and normally everyone would be asleep by now. He also vaguely thought, what if someone was still awake and came out if he turned on the light? He sat down, wiping away the drops of sweat. "All right, this is the last time. If it doesn't work, I'm going to bed." The wire was inserted into the lock. Click asterisk. Ethan's face lit up with joy, and he stepped inside, turned on the light, not forgetting to close the room door. The chilling scene, the musty smell mixed with the unknown scent of blood, assailed Ethan's nostrils, making him want to stop breathing. Ethan quickly walked closer to the camera, hastily replaced the battery, and then went outside. The moment Ethan stepped out of the room, a hand emerged from the floor, trying to grab his leg. Returning to his room, tired, Ethan immediately went into the bathroom and turned on the shower. He listened to the sound of running water, the warm stream flowing over his hair. Ethan closed his eyes to keep the water out of his eyes. Suddenly, he heard a cracking sound. Ethan opened his eyes, looking towards the source of the sound, and the mirror shattered as if an explosion had occurred. Glass shards flew everywhere, and he was accidentally their target. A lot of blood flowed from Ethan's right eye. He chose to remain silent, biting his lip tightly, quickly put on his clothes, and walked out step by step. Wherever Ethan walked, blood dripped onto the floor. He sat down on the bed and took out a small mirror to look. There was a very deep scratch in his eye. It seemed as though it would never heal. He just sat there looking at himself in the mirror, his eyes vacant. The pain slowly overwhelmed him. Ethan's face was covered in blood. It ran down his white, oversized shirt. He sat there until he felt the pain gradually spreading throughout his body. Ethan began to feel dizzy. Nausea. His stomach hurt terribly, as if hundreds of knives were trying to pierce his stomach. Feeling he couldn't take it anymore, Ethan vomited. What he vomited was only blood and many fish hooks. He collapsed. The pain made Ethan unable to help but cry. Small holes appeared on his body, and sharp fish hooks protruded from them. It was a pity, if only he had known this sooner. It was true that when one's time came, there was no stopping it. He knew his strength was limited. He would probably only live for a few more minutes. With blurry eyes, he looked towards his room door. His mother's shadow moved closer to Ethan. His mother sat down, stroking his blood-matted hair. Her tears fell onto the deep wounds etched on his face. Ethan lay there, and his mother sat beside him. The two just looked at each other and cried, not speaking a word until he drifted off to sleep. Perhaps it would be a long sleep. His mother's ghost dissolved into a wisp of smoke. The window suddenly opened, and a flock of crows outside flew in. They stood around Ethan's body, forming a circle, just looking at him. The rain seemed to pour down on the street. The water rose knee-high. Under the flickering streetlight, dark spots far in the distance moved closer. A school of black fish with jagged teeth swam to Ethan's front door. They gathered under the nearby streetlight. In the cold rain, a crow flew over the water, its talons gripping a fish tightly. The eyes all over the fish's body blinked incessantly. The crow landed on a rooftop, its raven-black feathers drenched. It dropped the fish, pecked at each eye on its body, and then threw the carcass into the cold water. The scent of blood spread, and dozens of other fish quickly swam over, tearing apart the dead fish. Crows perched on Alex's balcony and windows. He closed his room door, trying to scare the crows away, but they stayed put. They continuously pecked at the window with their beaks, while the others let out their terrifying calls. Alex was at his wits' end. Tonight would probably be another long night. The next morning, the rain still hadn't stopped. Alex wheeled his bike out and, as usual, went to Ethan's house to call him. His drowsiness seemed to intensify. The crows had bothered Alex all night. Knock, knock. Sarah opened the door, her eyes still gently looking at Alex. A gaze that Alex couldn't avoid, no matter if he was at home or school. He always felt as if someone was watching him with those eyes. "Hello, sister." Without letting Alex say another word, Sarah immediately spoke. "Yesterday, Ethan and his father moved to a new place. He won't be coming back." "What? Won't be coming back? What does that mean?" She didn't answer Alex's question. "I'll be going there next month too. I still have a lot of things to finish here." Saying this, she winked at Alex. She closed the door and walked into the house. Alex felt as if a bucket of cold water had been thrown on his face. "What?" He left without saying a word. Alex stood there alone, then ran into class and quickly called Ethan. The phone rang until it stopped. Alex called once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, but no one answered. The teacher announced to the class, "Ethan has dropped out of school. He'll be transferring to a new school, so from now on our class will only have 36 students." After saying that, the teacher left. Although Alex knew this beforehand, those words cut into his heart. No one in the class was sad except Alex. The first lesson began. Alex placed his phone in his desk drawer, continuously texting Ethan, sending a message every few minutes. Sarah sat on the sofa, smiling triumphantly. Perhaps she was the winner. She stood up, slowly walking towards Ethan's room. She gently opened the door and softly said, "Ethan, are you still in there?" Then she let out a bewitching laugh. Crows inside rushed out, pecking at her as if to tear her to shreds. She mumbled something incomprehensible, and the crows flew towards the window and disappeared. Sarah had quite high magical powers, and those crows were no match for her. Before her eyes was Ethan's stiff body, lying in a pool of blood. Around him were fish hooks, and his white shirt was stained with blood. Sarah walked closer to Ethan's corpse. Ethan was dead, that was the truth, but his eyes seemed to follow Sarah's every step, eyes filled with indignation. I told you, going against my wishes is never good. Do you understand now? As she spoke, her hand touched the dry, open wound on Ethan's eye. Perhaps you should have been more obedient. You still had a chance to change, didn't you? As for your body, I'll take care of it. Ping asterisk, a message notification came from Ethan's phone. Sarah looked and saw it was a message from Alex. What should I text back now? Or should I say, I don't want to see your messages anymore? She put the phone back in its place and left the room. Then she returned to the familiar room. Around her, a hoarse voice echoed. Don't celebrate too soon, quickly switch targets. Take your time, don't worry. Now it's just me, you, and that maid here. Tonight or tomorrow she'll die. That's right. Hurry and make that old man sign over all his assets to you. Done. Have you gotten the fetus I asked you to get? Not yet, but I will at all costs. It must be done for things to be complete. In short, the sooner the better. She grunted dismissively, then knelt down to chant as usual. Alex returned home, opened his messages, and seeing Ethan's message, his heart sank a little. The rain showed no signs of stopping or letting up. Alex looked out at the rainy weather, feeling empty. Perhaps he wanted to go somewhere. At 4 p.m., Alex went out with an umbrella. As he left, he casually informed his parents, promising to be home soon. His parents agreed. The time he spent befriending Ethan wasn't long, but their conversations showed they were very compatible. Why wouldn't he want to talk, or was Ethan having some kind of problem? The rain continued to fall heavily. Alex walked unconsciously, not knowing where he was going, only that he had walked very far. He stopped at a temple. Alex and his family had visited this place the night they moved here. Once again, he entered the temple. Alex tried to keep himself dry to enter the main hall. Arriving there, he took an incense stick, holding the tip to the flickering oil lamp. The main hall was quite spacious. The warm yellow light of the candles gave Alex an unusual sense of warmth, and the faint scent of incense permeated the air. He placed the incense stick in the censer and prayed for what he wished for. Coming here was a good choice for Alex, as he felt it helped him shed some of the worries in his mind. Alex was about to leave when a young monk rushed out. "Benefactor, please stop." Alex turned to look. "What's wrong?" "The abbot wishes to see you. He has something to say. Could you come into the inner hall?" "Yes," Alex nodded and followed the young monk. Arriving there, the young monk knocked on a room door and said, "Master, I have brought the person you wish to see." The door opened. "Bring him in." Then, turning to Alex, "Please sit down." The young monk led him to a seat and poured 2 cups of tea, one for the abbot, one for Alex. "I only wish to remind you not to frequent places not meant for you." Hearing this, Alex suddenly knelt down, holding the monk's hand. "Please, help me and my friend." The young monk and the abbot quickly helped Alex up. "Don't do that. I will try to help you, but now is not the time. After all, once you get involved in a battle, you become part of it, meaning you're already caught up in it." "I have a friend, he's gone. Will I ever see him again?" "The friend the benefactor speaks of is being harmed. The person you wish to see, I fear you will not be able to meet again." "What? What do you mean I won't meet him again?" "Come here this Sunday, I will tell you and find a way to help you. Now is not the time." Although Alex desperately wanted to hear it immediately, he had no other choice. He agreed. "It's raining heavily. Do you want to stay here tonight?" "No, thank you, I will go home. My parents are waiting for me. I will return on Sunday." "Then benefactor, please go home. Remember our appointment." Alex bowed to the abbot and quietly walked away. Alex's figure gradually disappeared into the rain. The abbot still watched his kind, aged eyes follow the boy's receding back. "Master, what's wrong with that benefactor? He looks so sad." The young monk looked up at the abbot and asked. "That is karma from a past life. You will understand when you grow older." Alex smiled faintly, remembering the time he and Ethan walked to the well. It was raining heavily then, too, only he regretted not bringing an umbrella. It was the same now, only Alex wasn't walking with Ethan. He walked with his head down. Everyone around had closed their doors. The only light now came from the warm lamps peeking through their house gaps. Alex looked up towards the direction he was going. He flinched, seeing someone's shadow ahead. He told himself, "It's okay, calm down, it's probably just someone walking home late like me." Alex stared at the shadow. It seemed to be a girl. She stood still, not moving or stirring at all, despite the freezing weather. Alex also stopped, looking at her back. Once again, he walked closer to the girl. "Excuse me, ma'am, it's raining heavily. Do you want an umbrella?" She remained silent. The distance between Alex and the girl was only 1 or 2 steps. Alex held his umbrella next to her shoulder, implying she could take it. She took it, accidentally touching his hand. Her hand was bone-chillingly cold. "Thank you so much, and what about you?" Her voice was icy cold. "It's okay, I'm almost home." "Could you walk with me for this last stretch? The alley I turn into is just over there." "Okay," Alex followed her. The distance between them was only 2 steps, but he couldn't walk side by side with her. The rain was so heavy that Alex was drenched to the bone. As they reached the alley, she stopped. Alex didn't choose to step closer. He maintained the distance. "Thank you very much. I'm going in here to visit my mother. Thank you for walking with me. What can I do to repay you?" "No, it's okay. Just keep the umbrella." "Hey, do you need me to walk you to your mother's house? It's dangerous for a girl to walk alone." "No, I can go by myself. You go home." Alex said goodbye and quickly walked away. His house was just a few steps ahead. Alex broke out in goosebumps. If he hadn't handled that situation carefully, he might have been dead. The alley she mentioned as her mother's house was actually a communal cemetery, not a residential area. She hadn't been going to visit her mother. She wanted to take Alex. Through the aura emanating from her body, she showed that she had changed her mind when Alex offered her his umbrella. Even if they are spirits, not all are malicious. Alex returned home, completely soaked from the rain. He changed his clothes and went to bed, but he couldn't sleep, thinking about what the abbot had told him. The person he wanted to meet was no longer there. No longer there? Does that mean he's gone, or is it Ethan? No, that can't be true. Alex sat up, brewed a cup of tea, and looked out the window. His window wasn't closed. Suddenly, a crow flew in, landed on his shoulder, and tilted its head, looking towards the window. Its movements were so nonchalant, as if they had been close for a long time. Alex looked at the crow on his shoulder, feeling perplexed. He shooed the crow away, but it wouldn't leave no matter how hard he tried. Alex eventually gave up and just embraced it, leaving it on the balcony. Unlike other birds that struggle when touched, this crow, even when he tried to shoo it away, didn't flap its wings violently, startling Alex. Alex coldly closed the door. The crow stood on the balcony until Alex fell asleep, then it flew away. It landed on the balcony of Sarah's forbidden room. Tonight, besides the rain, there was no moon or stars. It was indeed a suitable time to do something sinister. Its eyes were red, completely red with no pupils. Looking towards the window, the room was lit by white candles. Sarah was standing in front of the tank. She walked to the chair opposite and sat down in a very indecent posture, her feet on the seat. She held a razor blade, performing a painful and bloody ritual. Fresh blood splattered onto the glass around the tank and dripped onto the floor. Her voice trembled in pain. The calm water inside the tank suddenly shook violently, as if the creature within wanted to leap out of its safe abode. Sarah gasped, gripping the armrest of the chair. After a struggle in pain, she pulled out a reddish, deformed creature, then severed the umbilical cord connecting it to her body. It was a little larger than her hand. She lifted the creature above her face and looked up, feeling its every small movement. Blood flowed down Sarah's arm in streams. She looked at the creature's face. It was slimy, foul-smelling, and covered in vacant eyes staring at her. Sarah shrieked and threw the creature forcefully into the tank. As soon as it fell, the monster inside swallowed it. She then pulled out the remaining creature. She closed her eyes, not wanting to see the horrifying thing in front of her, and threw it into the tank. Very quickly, it was swallowed by the monster, just like before. "Ha ha ha ha, so what do you want now?" Sarah was almost exhausted. "Just stick to the plan, you won't die that easily. I'll keep you alive." Sarah shed tears mixed with her blood-belated tears. "Living like a puppet, huh?" The room was eerily silent. Sarah's wounds healed on their own without needing stitches. She could be called immortal. The crow perched outside on the balcony flapped its wings and flew away. Everything had been within its sight. The next morning, the rain had subsided somewhat. Sunlight streamed through the green leaves, signaling a good day. In the lecture hall, the teacher's deep voice resonated. "Next week, you will take an important exam that will determine your future, so I sincerely hope you all do well. See you next week." Saying this, the teacher took his bag and left the classroom. Alex stared blankly towards the window, the wind blowing his hair. He let out a heavy sigh and closed his eyes, feeling a sense of relief in his heart. "Alex, could you help me with this problem?" The girl at the front desk turned around, holding a stack of documents. She looked into Alex's eyes for a long time before shyly handing him the documents. He helped the girl solve the math problem, then quickly retreated back into his own world. The crow from yesterday flew in through the window. It landed on the desk where Ethan used to sit. It walked closer to Alex's hand, its dark red eyes looking into his. "You have such beautiful eyes," Alex whispered to it. "Light is wonderful because it can illuminate wonderful things. Truth can be hidden, but it cannot be blurred by darkness." Under the pale, yellow sunlight of noon, Alex's soul felt warmed.